Okay, morning everyone. Welcome briefing on Sunday the 2nd of April. A bit chilly out there, a northerly wind. I just thought I'd leave the overnight chart on just to show that it's been feeding across fronts over the last 24 hours. There's not been a lot of rain on these. And then you move forward 12 hours, see that cold front is now, in theory, clearing through by midday, 1 o'clock, leaving us a northeasterly flow the day, and the upper winds are sort of almost northerly, and pressure's been building a little bit compared to the last 4 or 5 days. So good news, and hopefully things drying out a little bit over the next few days. The TAFs, refresh. When I looked 20 minutes, half an hour ago, Farnborough was, that's a slight change. I'll talk about that in a second. Farnborough 020 10 knots. Yeah, it's probably what it is now. So that's all day. They're forecasting. Broken at 1400 feet. I think we've got a little bit better than that just at the moment. But it's low cloud associated with that cold front and becoming few at 3.5. Well, when I looked 45 minutes ago, they were saying few at 4.5. So a little bit of a change there. And Gatwick, they've got slightly lower cloud, but it does change, and they're saying few at 2.2 from 11 o'clock onwards potentially. Upper winds. Again, as I said, quite a lot of north in them, 15 knots, flying heights, perhaps a little bit slacker in the middle of the country, but down over us on the south coast, 50 knots, 020, 030, I think. I've seen other forecasts, so quite a lot of northerly in it, but not howling. Satpic. Now this sort of picks out this cold front here. There were odd spits of rain on it early this morning, and I drove in with a little bit of drizzle. And this stuff, although it shows it being fairly solid here, will break up as the morning goes on and slowly go up. The rainfall radar, and again, it's the last 2 hours, there are no drizzle on there, but earlier on you can see tiny little spots of where the frontal system was. So that will hopefully drift away to the west. But as the day goes on, it gets better and better, and temperature goes up a few degrees warmer than yesterday, hopefully with a bit of sunshine, but it will still feel chilly on the ground, I suspect, with that northerly wind chill. So 11, 12 degrees by the looks of it around here. Slightly colder than that if you stood at the launch point. Sounding for today, fairly straightforward, really. 9, 10 o'clock in here, lots of cloud trapped, lowish, 1500, 1800 feet. As you move on to 12, 1 o'clock, this has gone up probably 2,500 feet there, with quite a lot of cloud at that particular time. And by 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, things have spaced out a bit, so far less cloud. If anything, could be potentially blue at times in there, with 3,500 feet, maybe a bit more than that. Top Meteo was suggesting a little bit more than that. So Top Meteo's idea on the cloud, that sort of 9, 10 o'clock, still low areas of cloud, but turning into sort of cumulus by mid-morning, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And then as the day goes on, as you can see, it's starting to they're predicting becoming blue. That's those sort of lines on the Teffy splitting themselves apart. And that's probably still the remnants of the cold front lying down across the West Country. So blue and small amounts of cumulus, as was suggested by Farnborough's TAF, few at 3.5. And that's sort of 4 o'clock in the afternoon and going on. So getting better as the day goes on. Thermal heights by midday, 1,000 meters, so coming up to 3,000 feet, 2.5 above ground level. And by 2 o'clock, they're suggesting 1,300 meters at 3,500 feet. And it does go on to say 1,400 meters in here. SkySight don't quite agree with that. They're saying it stays at about 1,300 meters, 1,200 meters, or even a bit less than that. So let's have a quick look at SkySight. Their predicted height of thermals, let's go back to 12 o'clock, 900 meters, just under 3,000 feet. And as you move it on, sort of 2 o'clock, goes up to 1,100 meters, 3,500 feet. But it doesn't really go much beyond that. In an area up to the north and out to the northeast. Should be nice down on the coast as well. That's certainly good for the South Down to start off with, if not staying down in that area. So the potential flight distance, I think, for both Top Meteo and SkySight gives the same sort of area out to the north, a little bit into East Anglia, but okay down here as well. So not a bad day, but it will take a little while to break this cloud up, folks, before we really get going, unless you want to tow down towards the ridge and start off down there. Airspace wise, not really much going on. 15 and 17 is just a notification that the danger areas have been raised to 23,000 feet. In here, Middle Wallop are active today. That's an equestrian event. And 21, parachuting. I phoned them this morning. They picked up the phone this time. Nothing going on today. And he said, oh, it's going to be cloudy all day. We won't be parachuting. I don't think we haven't really looked at the weather forecast, but they've said no activity. Nothing down to the southeast. And looking further north, that's just paragliding up there. I need to find out a little bit more about this parachuting operation, whether it's suddenly going to start to become permanent. It'll be in a really awkward place if it is. Okay, so operationally, many of you should have hopefully seen the YouTube video we posted yesterday about how we're going to operate. The field is still very, very soggy in places. Just a little chat on setup here. I've put the launch point vehicle out here. We're going to winch from the south side, and we've got this sort of triangle of tarmac we can position the gliders. So they'll sort of curve round the back of the winch, the launch point vehicle, and launch off here. When you're parking gators, don't park them behind the launch point vehicle, park them alongside, please. Don't land gliders or tugs on the runway, because when people tow their cars out, park their gliders, they're likely to drive off this way and down the runway, and you don't want to be landing and meeting a car coming the other way. If you are up at the other end in a hangar, or for some reason you rig down here, this area is really squelchy. If you are going to tow out, 4x4s realistically, guys, otherwise you're going to bog down. Certainly here and other places, if you're towing out from the private hangars long here. And this part of the airfield here, about 100 meters away from the Perry track, is reasonable. So You're going to tow out from that end. Tow down here. That comes to the launch point. Be aware that other things will be landing. So, sorry about this, folks. We're just trying to make the most of it and not wreck the field, bog the cars down, and bring the operation to a grinding halt, because we are fairly busy today. We've got all the K21s and K13s out. Everything will need to come out. It's pretty much fully booked. Just be aware it will be a little bit of a slow operation. So if you're on the training list, you may only get 2 flights today, because we've got to get through it. It'll be challenging, that's for sure. The landing areas, I've done a quick look this morning. These are okay. They drained a little bit. Won't be too bad. So folks, let's start getting the kit out, and I will see you out there.